Hello. I wanted to introduce today a different lesson, a lesson that is one of my favorites, and it's a lesson that addresses once again the arms, shoulders, and neck relationship. It's called the menorah lesson, loosely translated from Hebrew. Moshe Feldenkrais called it the Chanukia lesson, and let me show you what it is. Lie on the back, bend your knees, stand your feet, bring your arms out to the sides, and create a 90-degree angle between your upper arm and the body, and a 90-degree angle in your elbows, right? So both arms, there's a line going from elbow to elbow through me, a straight line, and both forearms are to the ceiling. And the lesson begins with both arms coming slowly down towards the floor, maintaining the 90-degree angle. It's a constraint. It's a useful constraint. It basically guarantees that the upper arm will rotate very easily, right? It's a very useful constraint. I bring the arms, the wrists really closer to the floor without bending the wrists, just bringing the wrists closer to the floor. And the first variation on this theme is to lift the pelvis and make the reaching down to the floor much easier. After which, after a few times of doing that, we leave the arms there and bring the pelvis back down and explore that. Same thing goes when the arms roll down towards the floor in the other direction. And when they can't reach anymore, you lift the head, and lo and behold, wrists come down to the floor. You can bring the head back down and begin to play with it. This is the first chunk of the lesson. It's a few sequences of movements. There are some pauses in between them. Let's say this is about 15 minutes of the first 15 minutes of the lesson. Later on, we begin to work with longer arms, which is different. We make soft fists, long arms, and we begin to roll them either forward or back, and we connect it with the head and pelvis lifting and lowering, etc. The lesson begins to really be interesting when you begin to roll the arms up and down simultaneously. And it can happen either in this position or in that position, with the arms long or elbows bent. And what you may have already noticed is that when I do this, I roll my head left and right. You may wonder, why do I roll my head left and right? And the answer is that, skeletally speaking, when I do this movement, the way the shoulder blades are activated and the way they relate to the clavicle, the spine, the breastbone, especially the cervical spine, is in a way that I must roll my head towards the arm that rolls up. You never need to think about it. You just let your head be, and it will go there. And as is typical in many Feldenkrais lessons, as you may guess by now, we go to the opposite direction as well, right? We roll the head towards the arm that rolls down just to create the opposite experience, and then come back to the more intuitive, the more congruent experience, right? Now, when we go to sitting, or eventually later on to standing on the knees and standing on one knee and one foot, and there's all kinds of variations, we continue to use more of ourselves than just the arms and the head, right? So when we do this, we begin to notice that not only do we look at the arm that rolls up, we can also lengthen it a little bit. And now that we're seated up, there's no more that relationship with gravity that limits our reach, right? So it's a lot easier to reach over. It's a little bit like fencing. And once again, we're going to create a variation where we're going to go look at the arm that rolls down, just for the sake of doing it the opposite way, so that we can increase the range, become more comfortable, and then go back to the congruent way of doing it and discover that it's a lot easier all of a sudden. We also pay attention to the sits bone under us. So I'm on the right sits bone, I'm on the left sits bone, etc., etc. I would love for you to play with it a little bit, to explore it for yourselves. If you don't have the full lesson, at least work with some of these ideas. Just remember that I'm presenting these things very fast, and if you want to play with them, please play very slow and safe and simple. You probably want to refrain from straining, from reaching, from forcing something on yourself that is going to hurt you. Okay, so take it easy, rest often, work with small movements, and make it playful. Let me know how it works. Let me know what you discover, what your questions are, and I will see you again next week. Take care.